Sorry about that. My phone cut us off, so we have 2 videos. But like I was saying, I used to I just calmed down a lot. I calmed down tremendously. But going back to us working together, like I was seeing them walk in to work together, leave work together, take breaks together. And beyond that, people used to come to me and be like, hey, I seen your husband down there with this girl. So on top of all of that and me seeing all this going on, other people were seeing it too. So they was coming to me, and I'm pretty sure everybody, I was like the talk of work. Like it felt that way. I know people had their own things going on, but it felt like everybody knew what was going on. So yeah, it was just like, see, that's why I told you to turn the TV off, because you're looking at the game.
No, I was looking at her first.
No, you started looking at Aaliyah, and then you looked and looked at the game. Listen, before we did this video, I told him, you want me to turn the TV off? And he was like, no, it's low enough. I'm like, because I know you're going to get distracted. And then he started looking at Aaliyah, and then he turned to look at this game.
All right, go ahead, baby. You got to put me on blast like that, but we're going to go ahead, though.
I'm sitting here watching you like... But anyway, so it was very embarrassing. I was frustrated and everything. Now you're trying to be smart. But it was just real embarrassing. It was frustrating. I just wanted to like kill both of them. Like, for real. That was my mindset. Like, if I just off both of them, I'm good. Like, whatever. So, don't laugh, Aaliyah. So... coming from a woman's perspective, that was just like the lowest of lowest that I've ever felt in my life. Like I've never felt so low, so embarrassed in my life. And then it's just like during this whole thing, I have kids that I have to stay strong for, that I just wanted to like miss work. I was just like, I just wanted to be home in my room, balled up, just all day. But I still had to be the mom for my kids. It was so hard. They catch me at certain times of the day crying. And I'm just like, trying to hold this composure. So as a mom, I still had to, like, it was weighing hard on me to where, like, I didn't even want to, like, take them anywhere. I was just like, I didn't want to do nothing. So that's like
some of your input.
Some of my input as to like how I felt being that we were working together while all of this was going on. Because I'm pretty sure I would have been a lot better if we weren't working together, or just if the girl wasn't working with us. Because I forgot that part, she was working with us too. So if she wasn't working with us, I probably would have got through it a little easier. But being that I seen them, it was just like,
you want something to drink? Okay, go ahead, partner. You want to say hey? Hey? Okay, peace out.
So, babe, you can pick back up.
All right. Ouch. She bought us some pieces that I had, ain't gonna say anything about, I just forgot about, so to speak.
And just so y'all know, when we're recording, we didn't discuss anything. This is like the first time that we're kind of like hearing each other's side, or how we felt about the situation.
Like, even though we, I know she's mentioned that we talk things out, like she said in the last video, how we talk things out as we were trying to move forward and stuff, but obviously we never really sat down and just talked about like each other's side. It was just more of like, on my end, I don't say it was me. God had to show me that just my ways and what I was doing, and how I was, how I made things worse, and how I had to think about certain things. Yes, son. Huh? You gotta wait. She's still doing something with it. Okay. But just more so, him really showing me like my ways and what I was doing, what I wasn't doing, and like she said, like it was, this was at work, that where, she was put in a position to where, again, I felt like because we had, I guess declared at that time that we were going to split, and then because I was just so firm on like, this is what I wanted to do, I'm like, okay, in my mind I felt like if I do this, then she gonna leave me alone. You know, if I do this, then she'll leave, or she gonna worry about it, she gonna whatever, you know. Just like I told you guys before, like I literally have told her to their face, and this is before even any type of other relationship that came about, whatever. I had told her like I don't just don't love you. Like I don't. Like it got to the point where I even told her one time like I wouldn't even care if you would cheat on me right now. Like I wouldn't even get mad. I would just be like, okay, and then just walk away. That's how numb or unaffected I was by what was going on for me to be like, for me to be like, all right, it's time for me to. I want to move on from this, you know. So yeah, it got really bad. And I think eventually it seemed, and it would always seem as though things would settle down. Like it was like, okay, good, like we ain't arguing with each other no more or whatever the case may be. It was just like, another week later, here comes something else, here goes something else, here goes something else, here goes something else. And that's what allowed me to be so mad with her. I think so angry, not understanding that it really wasn't her. It was more so the actions of it was more so the consequences of the disobedience that I had brought upon myself that was causing these things to happen the way that it was. But you know, in the midst of, I wasn't even thinking like that. You just thinking about like, why are you tripping? Why you act like this? Why why you trying to cause these problems? Or why that was my thing, and that was what had me so angry. And I think that ultimately had me just like, you know what, of church, of ministry, of whatever, I don't care. This is what it is.
He just like what happened was he thought that by us being married and he moving on to a different relationship, that I was supposed to accept it and just move on in peace.
Pretty much.
That's really like what his issue was. So he would get so mad, like, why are you doing this? And I'm just like, but go ahead.
Yeah, and I was, because even my mom was like, in certain things, she was like, listen, I understand, and, I understand you mad. And at the same time, she was like, you just still got to understand, like, the one side I can understand where she coming from is that she fighting for her marriage. So, and I used to get so mad when she would tell me that, because I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Like, I don't want her to fight. Like, what she fighting for? And I'm like, even though I understood it, I just, again, like, at that point of my mind being so far gone, I didn't care. Like, I didn't want to hear nothing about fighting for the marriage. I'm just like, what crazy person is gonna fight for somebody like me that, like, don't want nothing to do with her? Like, this just didn't want, like, I didn't. And oh, you're so loud, girl, with them beads. But yeah, so it took me a long time to get to a point of, like I said, just realizing like my own faults, my own mistakes, and realizing like I had through certain decisions. It's not, I'm not gonna say everything that happened, even with just my son's mother, was solely on me, because at the same time it's like, you get to a point where it's when both parties are aware of what's going on, it's still a piece of like, you both are held accountable. It'd be different if I was just like, if it was just like, if I just the whole time, like, the person that, the other individual didn't know that I was, that I was married, stuff like that, it'd be different. But there comes a time where you both are accountable for what happened, and regardless of that, you have to understand that God is really not going to allow things to move the way that you want it to if it has not been ordained. I don't care how many times you try to speak it with your mouth that you think it's ordained, that you think that it's that it came from God, that it's coming from God. If it truly is not something that has been ordained by God for it to happen, no matter what it is not going to move the way that you want it to, because everything that God gives you comes to completion. So if you feel like you got something and there's something missing from it or whatever, or there's something that and it's always turmoil by whatever it is that you're doing, then that means it ain't from God. Just because you just forced it, you want it to happen, you force it to happen, and you just hoping that through you forcing it, and that just because you are in ministry, that God is still gonna somehow see it through, because you feel like you're obeying Him one way, but you can't obey Him one way and then this will be the other way. That's still being lukewarm. So again, and that's what I had to understand, like, okay, if I'm gonna get back in ministry, if I truly desire to get back in ministry, I can't sit up here and be like, I'm gonna get back in ministry and then still be doing the opposite of what God has told me through our marriage. And I knew that deep down that I had never really like tried in terms of like seeking His Word, getting some type of counseling, really understanding, like, really knowing, like, okay, I know better through God's Word. I may not know better through a foundational piece of having a successful marriage in front of me, placed before me, but I know better through just what I've read biblically that what I'm doing is not what I should be doing. So it was then at that moment where I don't know. It was at a moment like I was just with my mom, and I was living with my mom, and I know, like, she didn't even know, like, I was even thinking about trying to make things work and whatnot. We were literally like days away when I first approached her about it. We were literally like days away from our last court date of getting divorced. This was gonna be our last court date, and unless something crazy would happen, like, she was gonna be like, heck no, whatever. And which at this point she was like, this is what it is. I was like, this is what it is. We've been gone on this long, so we were literally like days away from our divorce. And I reached out to her, and I was just like, hey, I want to try to make things work. And it's crazy because I had like a few days before, I think I had told her that, and then she asked me, she was like, do you really, she asked me, do you really feel that, that God can really, like, mend what has been broken, and that we can make it work? And then that's when, like, I had went and I showed her. I had went into one of my old book bags, and it's crazy I even still had it. But I went in my old book bag, and when I went in there, like, I had my wedding ring still. Like, I hadn't seen that ring in I don't know how long. Like, I thought I threw it away, and and it was really at that moment when I first found it. I'm just like, okay, God, what are you really trying to, like, tell me right now? Because it's like I know what I feel, and I'm fighting this. I'm fighting myself, and I'm really fighting my flesh and what God is trying to tell me. Because it's like, man, like, dang, do I really, like, right now? I've been out here, like, I've been out here just doing my own thing. Like, a lot of y'all know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been out here just doing what I want to do. So it's like, dang, do I really want to give all this up? And and be like, you know what? I want to be committed to my marriage. I want to be able to get my family back right. I want God to be able to bless us the way that He wants us to, and not be a hindrance. And that battle right there in itself is rough. Like, trying to think about it, because when you are already so accustomed to living a certain way, doing a certain thing, and not really having to technically answer to anybody, when we all answer to somebody, which is God, but at the same time we don't see it as that. But when you don't have to answer when you realize you feel like you have to answer to nobody as far as relationship wise, I battled that. And so, but I was like, you know what, I really want to make, like, I do, like, I never really gave her that commitment other than when we first got married. But when the going got tough, me and her both were just like, we were fed up. But I don't think I was as mature as I am now, even though we still have a lot more growing to do. But I wasn't as, I guess, solid or firm and wanted to stay planted and do this. So I was like, yeah. I sent her a picture of the ring. I said, look, this is like, I don't believe in coincidences, because God doesn't do anything by coincidence, by chance. Everything that He does, is done strategically. Like, when it happens, it's because He allowed it to happen. He does things for a reason. So, sent a ring, and we talked about it after that, and literally, like she said, the next day or the 2 days later would be our last court date, and we just didn't go. And I don't know, it's crazy, because when I tell the story, it's just like, man, to be days away from your last court date, the thing that you felt like you was just like wishing and praying for, like, yes, it's finally gonna give. I got to worry about nothing. We done, and we just go our separate way. And now, just like, let me just take care of my kids, and that's it. To now being able to really be like, dang, like, we did that. Like, we made it through all of that, and as much as we wanted this to happen, we, like, God really blessed us and turned it around way beyond what we could even imagine. I don't know. I just thank God for I guess, using me, but allowing me to be obedient when him speaking to me and telling me what I need to do. Because again, nothing pushed me, nothing made me go. And I mean, what I mean by this, like nothing like there was nothing circumstantial that was like, well, man, I'm doing this bad, I need to go to her. Or before when we try to make things work, when I say it was out of convenience, it was because things were happening that was like, okay, let me just go back over here because I know I can go over there. It's just more convenient. Let me just go, or this is what's going on. Like I didn't have to. Like I was okay with where I was at in the midst of me reaching out to her this last time, and just been like there was nothing that forced me to be like, oh, I need to go back to her because of whatever. Like it was just like really having time to myself and just understanding like what I was doing, what I wasn't doing, and really just like praying like, God, if this is what you want me to do, like I hear you right now, but are you sure? Like, we're in a couple days away, like we can just go ahead and ride this thing on out, and slowly but surely. And I told her like, if at any point in time, if you want to be like, you don't want to make this work, I totally understand. Not saying looking for a way out. It was more so like I knew what I had put her through. So it was like, if you want to be like, hey, I just can't do it, or like you have every right to, I just I owe it to God first, but I also owe it to us to be like, we need to fight and really get it out there, like it really just show people like what it is to not just to not just be giving God praise for your marriage, but really showing people like what it is to really be, I guess, I don't know, just to really be appreciative of what God is doing, and really just feeling like who are we to be so unworthy, but be worthy by God, to be able to say like, I'm gonna use you to really like to do great things. But it's not until you guys get your mind right, get things right within yourselves, to what those things can happen. And I don't know. It just,
because God isn't gonna force you to do what He wants you to do. You have to be willing,
right,
to want to do, and then God will take the word from there. So just based off of our son that we have now throughout the marriage, how I felt about it. I was obviously, nobody can say that they're definitely okay with it when it first happened. So that's just what it was. Now it's like I'm over it. Like I definitely want to be like in his life. I can't really say like how it feels because I haven't even met him. So it's like I want to, have that relationship, and I'm longing to have that relationship, but it's not granted at this moment. Because we've been back together, like 7 months now? 7-8 months, something around there. So we've been together that long, and it was decided that we can't get him, I guess, since we're back together. So it's been 6-7 months.
Yeah, it's been about 6 months.
About six
to
7 months. So we know God is still working. God is still in control. So it's definitely going to end for the best, because God has been doing tremendous things for our family that you will see in the upcoming YouTube videos. That how if you stand in the gap and do what God is asking of you, that God will just go out His ways to just blow your mind. And that's literally like, as far as like our love life, like we were praying that God just replenish and just change all of that, because it's a lot of things that not only himself but myself, just when we split up, we were just out there, like we were just doing our own thing. So it was kind of hard for us coming back together to try to like mend what has transpired and been broken. But God has He's blown my mind as far as like our relationship, because it's like 20 times more than I could have imagined. So God can definitely do over and beyond of what you ask Him for, if you're just willing to like take heed and do what He's asking of you. So
yeah. So and just like you said, we as we move forward, It is I don't know. It's a constant thing where not a constant battle anymore. It's just more of a constant thing of just like really just keeping ourselves prayed up and really like she said, when it came to what we were seeking God for once we got back together, because we knew that there was so much things that had been done, a lot of things that had like transpired in the midst of what we were so used to. Don't get me wrong, we like it was still times where when we got back together, we were just like, I don't think it's gonna work, like because we were just so accustomed to certain things that we had been doing, certain lifestyles that we had. So it really took a lot of God to even break those things. To say like that you have to, you gotta cut these ways out, because at the end of the day, like you can't try to bring in old baggage into something that God is trying to make new, and we didn't, and that includes just even our old baggage that we had when we first were together, we first got married. Like there are things that needed to be changed, things that needed to be broken, things that mindset that needed to be that they need to be refocused on Him. And even right now, it's there are still bits and pieces that as we just like I said, as we sit here and express the story that God is that what God has done through us. We're still working on ourselves. We're still working on our marriage. We're still building. You should be building every day. But at the same time, we're just trying to get across and let you guys know, like, there's nothing that you could potentially go through that God can't restore, that God can't deliver. Like, it really is. There are many things that I've been through individually that I never thought I would make it out of, that I never thought I would get over, and even that, in itself, is a blessing. But to be here right now, to sit here and express, what God has done so far, it's amazing. And, I truly believe even with my son that he has seen me, at very low points when it comes to my son, because at the end of the day, like, especially with sons, it's like a twofold thing with daughters and sons. Because daughters, they need they dad, they need that male role model in their life, because at the end of the day, it's like a mom just can't do anything. And so when it comes to daughters, that's why daughters really like cling to their dad so much, because again, it's like they love that love, they love that nurturing stuff. When it comes to my sons, it's a little different, because I don't want them to experience things that I had to go through. I'm not saying like I don't want them to experience life, because, at the end of the day, they have to experience life. That's the only way they're going to be able to grow and learn certain things. At the same time, I still want them to be able to see, like, if you make decisions that are better than what I did, you won't have to go through these certain things. You won't have to go through, having to go to jail. A lot of different things. You don't have to go through these different things if you just make better decisions. I'm not gonna say that you're not gonna make bad decisions, because you would probably make some bad decisions, but I also want to be able to show them that, And then for my son, I just want him to be able to meet his family. Like, I want him to be able to be around his family, and it's like, and yes, it upsets me because there's a picture being painted negatively, and a lot of people don't know about it, because you guys know I don't go on social media and post statuses or even on Snap or nothing like that. I don't do that. As far as like, I didn't do it even when me and her was divorced. Like, I didn't simply be like, oh, I can't stand this. Like, I didn't, as much as I was upset, I don't do that, so a lot of people don't know what goes on behind the scenes, as far as like people are, either feel as though they think they know what's going on, or other parties may be saying certain things but aren't telling like whole truths about certain things, I try to let it bother me, because at the end of the day, it's like all I can do is pray about it and then just allow God to really handle the situation. As long as I know that I'm doing what I should be doing, to the best of my ability. And because there are areas where I could possibly be doing more. At the same time, there are things that are tainting certain actions that I can't do. So it makes situations hard when it comes to him. But we're really just believing and praying, that things will be mended in that area, so that way, he can be more involved with his family. That way he can, understand that he has two sides to his family, and just be able to ultimately, be with us. And then pretty much just go from there. And but guess we will cut right there. We do have, again, we still have more to share. We still have more things to let you guys in on when it comes to just like what we are doing now, how we moving forward.
Introducing the kids.
Yeah, cause
even the bad ones.
Cause they be everywhere. Yeah, like we said, the whole tribe of Judah be over here. There's so many of them at all times. But yeah, a lot of the, to be able to come on here. Hey, they may. Nah, I would say we'll let them talk for a little bit, but ain't no time what's gonna come out some of their mouth. We won't even know. Like, theirs might have to be directed for real. We might have to actually tell them like, "Here go y'all script. I'm gonna say this and that's it," because we just don't know. Cause they be talking crazy sometimes, and then you got to edit and everything. Yeah, they all of them divas, and then the two probably ain't gonna say nothing. He gonna be just give you a little look and then walk off. So but other than that, don't forget, please again just share, subscribe if you want to, but please just share so it can reach other people who are out there who may be just looking for something, something that may be a missing piece as to what may have their life unbalanced, or just really maybe need something to encourage them. And again, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And we will do our best to remember to include those questions the next time around. So then that way, somebody, not only you, but other individuals who may have that same question, going through the same thing, can be hopefully inspired, encouraged, motivated to want to do better, do more, or maybe be led back in the right direction in which God may have them to do. So, anything else?
Make sure you share, subscribe. Again, like you said, any questions, inbox us, let us know. We'll address it without saying your name, everything confidential. We just want to be a blessing to somebody, anybody, even if it just reached one person. Then we know we're doing what God has called us to do.
All right. And guys, please pray for us. Continue to pray for us as well. Yes. Like it's, we're not saying, we just saying, whatever the Spirit leads you to pray for, just continue to keep us girded up, because again, like through anytime you're doing something that God has instructed you to do, there's a lot of opposition that's going to come. So we just we thank the ones who have been praying for us, and we just gonna continue to put it out there, because again, prayers are needed no matter who you are, no matter where you stand, no matter what title you have, no matter what you're doing. Prayers are needed. And we just want to thank everyone who has came up to us and just said, that they've been watching, they've been in tune, they've been excited, they want to, we thank you for all of that, because this has been bigger than what I originally, would think. It was just more so like I just knew that this is something that people need to hear, and I just want to be obedient and just be like, hey, and I just approach it and just share. So we thank you, we love you guys. Until next time, we won't make y'all wait 2 weeks. Should be one next weekend.